Imagine building your career in the United States, years of education, long hours, and the hope that your skills will be valued. Now imagine all of it being tied to a 60-day countdown clock, a timer that starts the moment your job ends, and one that could decide whether you stay or you're forced to leave. That's the reality facing thousands of H1B visa holders today, many of them from India, as sweeping policy shifts and enforcement crackdowns reshape the rules of America's most sought-after skilled worker visa.
Donald Trump has picked a new target. This time it's Indian tech workers. After tariffs and trade wars, he's going after tech talent. The US president has issued what sounds like an ultimatum. It is aimed squarely at big tech. Trump wants them to cut back on hiring from abroad. Trump's new system could favor the elite and make it harder for Indian techies to get through. And even if you get a visa, there is no guarantee that you're safe. A growing number of Indian techies have received deportation notices in recent months. And these are people who hold a valid H1B visa. But they were recently laid off. Now, as you know, H1B visas are tied to employment. But even in the event of a job loss, these workers have certain rights. They have a 60-day grace period, 2 months, 60 days. In this period, they can find new jobs, transfer their H1B visas to another employer, or even switch to a different visa. Basically, they get a 60-day window after losing a job to reorganize their papers. But these people are now getting deportation notices.
The 60-day grace period was once seen as a safety net, a window of time for laid-off workers to find a new employer willing to sponsor them. But in recent months, USCIS has been issuing notices to appear even to workers still within that period. According to multiple employment attorneys, these notices immediately triggered the start of removal proceedings, cutting short the very protection the grace period was meant to provide. For Indian tech workers, who make up nearly 73% of all H1B holders, this isn't just an administrative change. It's the difference between maintaining legal status and being forced to uproot entire families on short notice.
White House plans to have a new wage-based H1B visa system, not the lottery that used to exist. So what is happening is the 85,000 visas that are allocated every year, we know that the bulk of those go to India. This is a known fact, and then there's no surprises there. What White House is trying to do is to try and keep the H1s to only those jobs which the local population, that is the American population, is unable to do. So basically what they are trying to do is now H1Bs will have to be skill-based. It would have to be given to only those people who are deemed to be product specialists or experts in their field, and those are the ones who are going to be eligible for the H1B visas.
For decades, the H1B selection process has been a lottery, a random draw that gave startups, mid-sized companies, and Fortune 500 giants the same chance at securing a visa slot for a worker. The Trump administration's new proposal would replace that with a tiered, wage-based system. The logic is simple. Prioritize high-paying jobs that, in theory, signal greater economic value. But critics warn it will favor big tech firms over smaller, innovative companies and effectively shut out fresh graduates or early career workers, many of them international students from India, transitioning from F1 student visas to H1B status.
Many of our largest tech companies have reaped the blessings of American freedom while building their factories in China, hiring workers in India, and slashing profits in Ireland. You know that? All the while dismissing and even censoring their fellow citizens right here at home. Under President Trump, those days are over. We need U.S. technology companies to be all in for America. We want you to put America first. You have to do that. That's all we ask.
This shift comes against a backdrop of slowing tech sector growth. In July 2025, the U.S. added just 73,000 jobs, far below expectations. Since January, more than 80,000 tech workers have been laid off, many of them on H-1B visas. For Indian workers, the stakes are even higher. From November 2022 to early 2023, over 200,000 tech jobs were lost, with an estimated 30 to 40% belonging to Indian nationals on H-1B or L-1 visas.
For too long, much of our tech industry pursued a radical globalism that left millions of Americans feeling distrustful and betrayed.
Inside Washington, the H-1B debate isn't just about immigration, it's a battle over America's economic identity. On one side, pro-business Republicans and tech leaders, including figures like Elon Musk, argue that restricting high-skilled immigration will push innovation offshore. On the other, nationalist factions within the GOP frame the visa as a threat to U.S. jobs and wages. This political tension means the H1B program is caught in the middle, and every policy shift carries the weight of competing economic visions.
Here. So right now the USCIS has not put out the rules. This will be coming out soon. Bloomberg Law has the initial draft of it, from which we are going off of that.
Any major immigration change faces a gauntlet of legal and bureaucratic hurdles. Previous attempts to move to a wage-based system have been blocked in federal court for failing to meet procedural requirements. Attorneys warn that the August 2025 proposal could face similar challenges, especially if critics argue it violates the Immigration and Nationality Act's requirement for fair access. But until a court intervenes, if it does, USCIS is preparing to implement the change.
Published by the Times of India, these are the approximate wage levels you can expect based on the scheme released. Level 1, freshers, $83,000. Level 2, qualified, $108,000. Level 3, which is what they want, experience, $127,000. And level 4 even crosses $150K. So basically, if you go ahead to the US as a student and you don't get a job offer above probably $130,000, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to secure an H1B in the upcoming years.
For Indian H1B holders, losing a job can mean more than just career disruption. Families with children in U.S. schools, mortgages, and community ties face the prospect of starting over in a country they left years ago. According to the Indian Ministry of External Affairs, remittances from Indian workers in the U.S. exceeded $12 billion in 2024, a financial lifeline for families back home.
The DHS may, at its discretion, shorten or completely eliminate the 60-day grace period, making this the key risk factor in current cases. So if they just take it away, I mean, they can. That could be another problem too. That means as soon as you get laid off, you have to go.
The crackdown doesn't just affect individuals, it reverberates across global business. Indian outsourcing firms that send thousands of IT professionals to U.S. clients each year could see contracts reshaped or canceled. Universities relying on full-fee international STEM students may find enrollment drop as the post-graduation pathway narrows.
Now, big companies like Microsoft have called this scheme into question, mentioning how the US needs a diverse range of people with diverse skill sets. Startups should be able to hire people who are at an entry level, who may not be as expensive, but would still be able to do the job. Whereas bigger companies, which are able to pay highly for the kind of people they need, will be able to hire those fully competent people, which are wage 4. But even then, they still might need people from wage 1 or wage 2 levels, if you think about it, because let's face it, a person who's right out of school will probably not be making $130,000 right in their first year. So this impacts everyone. Tech startups, smaller firms who are not able to pay such high wages, they're worried because they can't hire internationals anymore. And there is a lack of workforce, and that's really what the H1B initially targeted, that there should be enough people, enough workforce to make US the number 1.
Industry groups have warned that restricting H1Bs could trigger a talent shortage, especially in AI, cybersecurity, and semiconductor sectors. Startups, already competing with giants for scarce engineers, may find it even harder to hire.
Trump is not just changing immigration rules, he's killing the goose that lays the golden eggs.
If implemented, the overhaul could fundamentally reshape the US tech labor market, shifting the balance toward highly paid, highly educated workers while reducing randomness in the visa lottery system.
From here, there are 3 possibilities. 1. The wage-based system becomes law and reshapes H1B hiring. Second, courts block the change, keeping the lottery system. 3. A future administration revises or reverses the policy entirely. For now, uncertainty defines the H1B landscape. What was once a straightforward, if competitive, process is now a shifting maze of rules, politics, and economic pressures. For Indian tech workers, the stakes have never been higher. If you found this breakdown useful, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with anyone following the H1B debate. Staying informed is the first step in shaping the conversation.